We really, really enjoyed this movie. It's a great one to watch right before Halloween, and so we're excited to get into this one because it just starts out strong. It starts out immediately go into the action, and probably that's probably how you saw it going too, right?
Yeah, I think that was certainly the flavor that we wanted to go for. I think this sort of movie, the moment the titles are gone, you should be on a thrill ride, really. And I hope that's the case. Um, yeah, it's an interesting movie, and I hope it felt well paced, and hope people enjoyed it.
Yeah, certainly. You both have to be excited to get this thing out there in the world because these movies are a lot harder to put together than most people realize. So
Yeah,
you got to be proud of this one.
we're very proud of it. You never know how any movie is going to be sort of received, but we're certainly very proud of it. There's a lot of work that we both put into, and the rest of the crew and cast as well. Everybody did a fully committed sort of effort with this movie. I couldn't thank everyone enough that worked on it, because they all brought far more to it than just their doing their job. Every single person involved in the movie brought a lot of gems to it. It was wonderful.
Yeah, there's a lot of heart, a lot of passion. It definitely was a labor of love and a very ambitious project that we did very quickly and intensely. And I think that some of that energy actually like plays through on the screen and the intensity
Hmm.
of it. So
Certainly
yeah,
does.
this is the first project that Andy and I have done together. It's my first actually as a writer producer. So we're both
Yeah.
really excited for everyone to see it.
Yeah, and Danielle, you had to wear several hats on this thing. It's a little bit tough on you.
Yeah.
I've learned to juggle in the middle of all of it. Yes, juggling lots of hats. But as challenging as it is, I feel like sometimes that level of pressure, for me anyway, it serves at the end. Like I feel like I work well under pressure. And sometimes when things feel completely chaotic and out of control, like I'm doing too many things at one time, somehow it it creates a little bit of magic, and that might be because at some point then you just have to surrender and not be too attached to things, and the process has to become a bit more fluid and less planned. And I think
Yeah.
in a situation, in a story, in a film like this, I think that served us. There were a lot of challenges and a lot of pivoting, uh, and a lot of like thinking quick and thinking on our feet. And but again, like we had such a tremendous cast and crew, and everybody pulled together, and I just feel like it was all of that that made it what it is. And for me, it's magic. So hopefully that'll translate to the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of scenes that I think would stand out a lot to work on because there's some pretty intense stuff in there. So for each of you, what was that day on the set where you planned this out so well, and what was that scene where you're just kind of looking around, going, "This is exactly how I pictured it. This is going to be great."
Yeah, absolutely. Just about everything that we shot uh, su- sort of surprised me that it was far better than I'd ever planned. It was one of those special projects that everything just flowered much brighter than you'd imagine it would be, and I think that was a result of all the people involved. That every actor on the show brought something special to it. The production designer brought something special. We had two cameramen because the picture pushed a bit, so we lost our first choice, and both of them brought a specialness to it. Yeah, we were very, very sort of blessed with all the best luck in the world with cast and everything. I mean, every every aspect of the movie was had something special about it. It was one of those sort of lucky things that everything fell into place. It was just magical.
How about for you, Daniel?
Yeah, I think that there were it's almost hard to like separate them because like I said, it all happened so fast and there was so
Mhm.
much happening for me. Sometimes I think about it and it's like this one giant blur. And then I pick out these moments where I'm having like I had so many pinch me moments. Like the day that Graham Greene showed up on set, I was like, I'm having a pinch me moment right now. I can't. I think the day actually, like each character came on set. Like when Theo showed up in his like beautiful suit,
Mhm.
and I saw Danny come alive for the first time. Like that was such a moment, and it was the same with Arlene, and it's really the same with Squealer. Like seeing, having the experience of starting from a blank piece of paper, and then seeing these characters like pop up and be so rich and real.
Mhm.
That was incredible. And then seeing some of the things that Andy was shooting and like this incredible New Mexico sunset sky that we had would just like these moments in time that just were I was awestruck by. And then there were other moments where I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. How are we going to do this? How are we going to pull this off? We definitely had challenges with weather. One day it just started snowing out of the like
Mhm.
middle of nowhere. Buckets of rain turned into snow like really fast. And another day, we were shooting one scene and it was like so clear and so calm and perfect. And then before you know it, it was this windstorm that came out of nowhere, and having to find ways to make the scene work with such like diverse weather. Always challenges, but overall like an incredible experience.
Yeah. Well, and of course, you've both been on some incredible sets and have so many great stories from so many times. And I'm sure people ask you all the time because they look up to you and they think, that's what I want to do because both of you have such cool careers. What advice do you give to the people that are coming up behind you that want to do what you do?
Just be good at bluffing, really.
Right.
Really, I mean, yes. Well, we've certainly both had some, fun careers, uh, and a lot of. I feel a lot of what I've done certainly has been. I've been very, very lucky. I've been surrounded by people that have sort of given me breaks to do things, and I'm a big believer in delegating and letting people have a certain authority of their own with their, whatever department, whether it's a character playing a role or whether it's someone designing a set. I think it's very important to give people a certain amount of freedom to do some stuff. And I've I really feel that if you give people a chance to do things like that, 90% of them will rise to the occasion and do far more than you even imagined. And that was certainly the case on this movie. Everybody that I said to do something, they would come back with something 10 times as good as I ever imagined it would be. So I was really very, very lucky to be surrounded by so many people that were just collaborators, and it's just a wonderful process.
Hmm. What would you say, Daniel?
I think for me, the thing that I learned the most, and I would encourage other filmmakers, is to just keep going. Like so
Mhm.
many times for me, I feel like it's just too much. It's just too big. Like I couldn't possibly do that, accomplish that, and you just keep taking that step forward. Um, and it'll find its way. It's a never ending process, especially from a
Mhm.
writing standpoint. I find that I always really want it to be perfect when it comes on the page the first time. And it's like, it just doesn't go like that. Just get anything down on the page, just get something down on the page and then let it grow and let it grow. And don't be afraid for it to be messy and let it just be big. And then you'll sculpt it after. It's going to start morphing and changing and sculpting and refining itself along the way. But just keep at it. Just keep taking that step. for me personally, having a partner is key. Some people like to work alone. I can't imagine it. And we both kind of kick each other down the path along the
Yeah.
way. If one of us is dragging, the other one is like, "Come on, let's go." If we're both tired, maybe we're going to take a break. But for me, that's been the game changer for me,
Yeah.
and mostly because Andy, not only is he a great partner and we work really well together, but more than anything, he has just championed me and given me so much confidence and encouragement and support. And having that has been amazing. So I'm super grateful to him for that. So find your Andy.
Yeah. There
Keep
you
going.
go. I love it. My co-host Drew Pearson is one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame a couple years ago, and we're so proud of him. We love to ask people their Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. So curious to know what that was for each of you.
You go first. I've been
I think this might be it.
Yeah.
yeah, no, certainly in a 50-something year career, this movie was the most enjoyable, and I often sort of pinch myself because I've been on lots of big movies, but they're not as sort of personal as a picture like this, and I really felt every day that I was surrounded by comrades that would sort of support me. I think if I'd have dropped dead, the movie would have carried on being made to the same beat completely. And I think for me that was the most wonderful thing about this movie is I felt the surrounded by people that were kindred spirits. It's just a fantastic feeling, that happens rarely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I think for me, I mean, I have to say this really is my moment. I've had a lot of titles along the way. I started on Broadway. I was a dancer. I became a stunt woman. I've been an actor. I've been in the industry a long time. I've done voiceovers, motion capture, all kinds of things. And I've always wanted to delve into the filmmaking aspects, the writing and the producing and more of the storytelling. And I think I got to a place in my career where I just didn't know if it was going to actually happen and be possible. And then Andy came along and this all happened, and not entirely easily or seamlessly, but here we are. And so it's been a huge moment in my life, a huge new chapter. And although I have worked on some incredible projects, I've had so many amazing moments. This one, I think, is the most powerful and fulfilling yet. And the movie hasn't even come out. It's just been the
Yeah.
experience. I hope people will respond to it, but regardless, I'm really grateful for the opportunity and the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And the stunts are still fun to do. Was there a particular one on this one, I guess without spoiling too much, that each of you enjoyed, kind of like, oh, this will be a fun one to do?
We wanted to keep any sort of action violent or sort of horrific, or we wanted to keep everything sort of grounded in reality. So the interesting thing, I guess, with this movie is, as we both come from a stunt action background, and yet there's not one, I don't think there's one scene in the movie where we've used a stunt a stunt double for anyone. Everything that was in this movie is done by whatever that character was, and I think that for me is sort of special, because you often do big movies and the bit that's someone remembers is often not the actor. It's some other specialist that's come in to do it, and this movie was completely organic. It was everybody that played the role also did any of the action that was necessary for them.
Mm-hmm.
And did you have a particular stunt, I know that, or kind of moment where you're coordinating something, going, this is great?
What for this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, God, sort of every day was special, but one of the scenes that I love the most is Squealer and a potential victim when they're walking at the hotel and talking, you know, because the whole scene sort of unfolds with just these two people talking, and for me that was sort of magical to watch, because you just see these, they're completely believable characters for me, and you know, that whole scene from beginning to end is felt completely organic and real to me. And I think throughout the movie, that's one of the special ones that you know, takes my I go back to and I think about all the time.
Yeah, and in regards to your question about the stunts,
yeah,
I think for me, there's like any particular stunt per se doesn't stand out so much, because it all just feels like the part of the story. So it's interesting coming from a stunt background, and I could tell you, like, from the past, like, oh yeah, this stunt, I love this stunt, like this one was my big stunt, something. And on this movie, the stunts don't feel like stunts to me. They're just such a story piece. So honestly, there's nothing in particular that stands out.
yeah. Well, the whole movie stood out to us. We really enjoyed it, and we loved, you know, getting a nice big thrill out of it, especially, like I said, right before Halloween for us. But for everybody else, we're going to tell them to check it out as soon as it's out. And we really appreciate your time today and the great answers. Look forward to talking to both of you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Happy
They're
Halloween,
wonderful.
everyone.
Halloween.
Yes. Happy